Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? I'm your host, Cryptidmasterkd, and the terrifying creature stalking you and preying on your cattle. It's nothing personal, it's just good protein. And in today's episode, I thought I'd dedicate my precious this video to my precious baby kitty Peaches, the baby Wampus cat. And she's around here somewhere. And in today's video, we're talking about that. We're talking about the legendary beast, a feline entity known as the Wampus cat, and its origin, and an eyewitness in Illinois who had an encounter with one of these beasts. But first, before we get into that, a little intro. You're gonna enjoy this with a little dance. A little dance. Here we go. Alright, that was my little, well, look who's here, people. Look who's come to say hi. It's Peaches, the baby Wampus cat. And she's here to join us in our video today, people. Isn't that nice? Well, she's in my chair. And so, guess Peaches, you're gonna have to move for Daddy. Daddy loves you. Please move. Good Daddy. Good baby. Okay, people. Welcome to the Cryptid Lore Cryptidmasterkd channel. I hope you're all doing well today. And I hope you enjoy my content and my other videos. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a legendary creature. One that was said to be born from magic. A feline being known as the Wampus cat. And about one man who came face to face with this creature. This story's about the Wampus cat. That I already said that, but anyway. Now, you're probably gonna ask me, what is Peaches? What is a Wampus cat? What is that creature? Well, let me tell you. Now, throughout North America, people have been seeing these things. And to the people of West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains, the creature is known as the Wampus cat. Now, the Wampus cat is described like this, but also in Illinois, where one of this story I want to tell you takes place. And the creature itself is described as a large cat, mostly like a Black Panther like creature. But this is not an ordinary panther like being. This is not a panther like being that any ordinary panther like being. Well over 9 feet long, humongous bear like paws, huge body, black fur, black as the night, huge feline teeth, and the most devious part is its glowing blood red eyes, said to be glowing a ghostly red, able to peer, some say it can peer into the human soul. Now, before we get into the stories, please like and subscribe, and leave a like, and comment down below what you think of this video and what cryptid I should do next. Now, and before we get into the story of the story encounter that we want to discuss, you're going to be asking me what I meant earlier. How was this creature born from magic? Well, I'm going to tell you this story. According to Cherokee folklore, the legendary the beast was once human. A Cherokee woman. A Cherokee woman who was untrustworthy of her husband. Now, before I finish that, you should know that this thing has weird powers, which I will discuss in a bit. But anyway, this woman was a Cherokee woman who was untrustworthy of her husband. She did not trust him. And one day, her husband went off for a gathering with other warriors of the tribe and shamans of the tribe. And it's unknown why she did it, but mostly it's said because she was untrustworthy of her husband and she was untrusting, I guess you could say. And what she did was what got her in the situation she's in now. She disguised herself. She followed her husband and the other tribe members. And to do this, she disguised herself as a large cat by wearing the skin of a large cat, particularly a puma or something. She wore a cat or mountain lion skin and a cat mask. And she used this to get close and spy on her husband and and the party that he was with as they sat around a fire in order to tell, do a council meeting, I guess you could say. And anyway, they she was unaware of what was around her, and the warriors caught her and brought her before the shamans, who were absolutely enraged that she had broken the taboo, that she wore a mountain lion skin and disguised herself as a cat. And as a punishment for her actions, they put a spell on her, a curse on her, and she sprouted hair on her body, claws, hands, and started to grow. And she was transformed into the legendary Wampus cat. And she was banished. And this creature has said to be out for revenge and been stalking the land ever since in Appalachia and Illinois. She's been stalking the land ever since. Now, a few things about this particular panther-like creature, because it's mostly described as a large panther-like creature, but it's almost demonic looking. But anyway, these panthers are said to have, because I say panthers because if in the same altitude areas where the creature is sighted, she might have had offspring. Perhaps she was pregnant when she was turned, so she must have had offspring. And these panthers are said to have supernatural power. The ability to jump at a person and disappear in midair. Jump out of the bushes and jump at high speeds. And able to appear and disappear at will. Also, it's one thing is often seen, like in the records, particularly in the 1800s, in the 1917s, that this creature, search parties were looked after these creatures. After many sightings, hundreds of, not thousands of sightings of these creatures started. These creatures were considered very dangerous. They were even given the name Nellie the Lion, but I honestly wish they'd given it a different name. It sounds too cute. I mean, do you guys think Nellie the Lion sounds cute? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, it is said, though, that if you hear a Wampus cat's ear-piercing cry, death is soon to follow. But in that time, hunting parties were sent out, but the creature has never been caught. But in one incident, while the group was tracking the beast, they found tracks, and to their horror, as they came into the woods and they were following the tracks disappeared. They just ended right there. Probably because it jumped super high and managed to jump in another part of the trees. And And in one incident, a butler who was doing his chores was attacked by one of these panthers. So these things are very dangerous. However, we know in the fossil record there were giant cats in North America, which I have a feeling this is what we're dealing with. Or we're dealing with a time traveling one traveling through portals. Because some say these cats can sometimes go in and out of the physical world through portals. But anyway, with all that aside, now that you know what a Wampus cat is, and what a Wampus cat looks like, it acts like, and that it's very dangerous and should not be looked for, we're going to take a journey to where my story of this encounter I want to tell you about takes place. In an area of Illinois where the Ohio and another river meet is a small thousands of acre plot of untouched wilderness and land. And it's very famous for its sightings of different cryptids. Cryptozoologists like myself have even studied this area and know that it's a very weird place. And anyway, this place in Illinois was given the name the Devil's Kitchen, and is mostly famous for sightings of this panther-like creature. And this is hundreds of miles away from the birthplace of the Wampus cat. So I don't think we're dealing with one creature or Wampus cat anymore. It's Wampus cats. And anyway, the story that happened here happened in 1970. A 19-year-old man at the time, a man who was 19 at the time, named Mike Busby. Mike Busby was his name. And if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, I don't think I am, well, I apologize, Mike, if you're listening. He was 19. Mike was 19 at the time. Mike Busby was 19 at the time. He had a job. He had just gotten married. And this particular night, he was driving up a road near the wilderness, one that he drove daily and nightly. You see, and it should be noted here that as a child, he had heard the stories about the panthers. But, growing up, I guess you could say, he didn't really take any of it seriously. And on this night, when all that changed, when this story would come hitting him in the face, literally, this night, he was on his way. He was driving down a dark road at night. He was driving to go pick up his new bride, and and take her home on his way from work. And all of a sudden, nearly in the middle of the road near the forest, because it was a forest road, the tragedy struck, and his car broke down. And as he was doing this, the car broke down, and he pulled. When this happened, he pulled over to the side of the road to fix his car. And he got out and worked on the radiator, the part of the car where he could get it working again. And he was able to, and just as he was about to, he turned around to try and get back in the car, he heard snapping sound behind him, like limbs cracking. Like limbs cracking. And that's when he turned around, and out of the bushes, it pounced on him. This huge beast, the panther. And it jumped on him, growling at him. It pretty much and with all it, he described it as being bigger than he was. This huge panther cat-like beast jumped on him, and started trying to maul him. And it was huge. He says the paws of the beast were as big as his hand. And now, and as you can expect, he was fighting. He was fighting for his life. Bosby tried to get this huge behemoth thing off him. And it was big. And he said when you looked at it in his eyes, it was like it was the feeling of a predator. And he started punching it, trying to get it off him. And this creature he just could not get this thing off him. And he started growling at him, and it seemed the more he fought, the harder it hit. And he says that it was hitting him with his paw. And it was like, and he says that it was almost like a human hitting you. It felt like when a human hits you. Now, it should throw out here that probably the reason that the Cherokee people cursed this woman was because she was wearing skins, and that is a common thing with another cryptid I talk about in a previous video, skinwalkers. But there's no records of this thing shapeshifting. Now, back to the story. Sorry about that. Anyway, the thing was beating him, clawing him, and it tried it, it was trying to get to his throat. Literally. He had it, and to keep it from doing this, he had both of his hands in its mouth, holding its mouth open. But it kept pushing and trying to get to his throat. And he was pretty strong himself. And this thing just would, he could not get this thing off him. The creature was roaring at him, growling at him like a huge rock. And he thought for sure this was it. The creature was going to eat him alive. And no one would know his story or what happened to him. He'd be a missing person. And knowing this and knowing he was probably going to die, he just went limp and played dead. And that's when the thing lost interest and got up off him. So if you ever encounter this creature, play dead, like a possum. Play possum, like sheep squatch, which I will do another video about. Anyway, as it got up off him, this, like a saving angel, a pair of headlights from a car came his way, like a soaring angel. Now, this next part is going to indicate this creature's paranormal, supernatural abilities, and where the Cherokee woman thing might have come from. And it's outright bizarre and strange. The thing, he says, took off to the woods, but when it took off, it was on its hind legs, running off on hind legs, on two legs. Like a person would run. He says it made 4 or 5 steps, and that's the last he saw of it, because he crawled until he got up on the road. And the car stopped, and got out and said, "You're hurt, let me help you." And the driver of the car says, "Did you see that thing?" And he said, "Yeah, I saw it." "Oh, yeah, I saw it." Now, he had scratches all over his body, across his face, on his cheeks, everywhere. So the nice man, the Good Samaritan, drove him to a hospital. And he got stitches all over. And he was in there for about a week. And still shaken up. Now, here's one part that just really disgusts and disturbs me, personally. A few days after, while he was recovering, while he was recovering, one of the things that happened was this 2 policemen came in to see him. And, they wanted to interview him, and he, being cops, they asked him what attacked him. He asked it, what attacked you? Do you know what it was that attacked you? And he says, yes. And Mike Busby says it was a big cat. Black, large. Bigger than any other panther or cat he's ever seen. And anyway, he told them everything that had happened. And here's where the messed up part is. They didn't really believe him they didn't really believe that it was a giant cat. They asked him, could it have been a wolf? And he said no. He knows what a wolf is. This thing wasn't a wolf. It didn't have the large snout or it didn't look like any canine. It looked like a feline. And anyway, the cops didn't really take him seriously, telling him how terror, fear can, cause hallucinations in the brain. So you think what you saw. The whole mind play thing that's typical with these people, with cops. Personally, I don't know much. Let's just say I had a bad experience with cops, but anyway, wait, not too long after that, and after he was released from the hospital, a cop in the area where he had the encounter shot a wolf, a giant wolf, and 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 dubbed it the culprit. But Mike is not convinced. He is not convinced of what he saw was any wolf. Now I need to wrap up this video, but what I'm gonna say is, not too long after, a a reporter, aka a newly cryptozoologist who had his own encounter with the beast, he actually he said he interviewed with Mike. Coslin was his name, and he is one of the well-known cryptozoologists out there that I really respect. And he studied cryptids all around the world, and he's looking for facts. And he interviewed Mike. And Mike told him that it was a big black cat. And it had red eyes, and that it had big teeth, and that it got up and it walked away it ran off on two legs. Walked off on two legs. And he says it walked off on two legs, and to put it bluntly, he said that it was evil. He could feel it was evil. It wanted him dead. Maybe to take his soul. But anyway, to this day, Mike knows what he saw. Now, I'm going to wrap up this video. And I hope you enjoyed this story. I really hope you do. And I strongly advise you not to go to the devil's kitchen to look for this creature, because it'll bite you. I would say you will bite off more than you can chew, but it will take a bite out of you. And anyway, what did you think of this story? Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let's hit 1,000 subscribers this year. And more shorts are on the way. But like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, whatever you all are doing. I loved you all. And And I hope you stay safe, my darlings. Yeah. Beep. And don't forget, my pretties, your cryptid master. Roar! And with all of that out of the way, peace out.